Hi everyone, my name is Mirella and today I'm going to talk to Marietta. Marietta is the author of the blog Polish Your Eyes and she used to fly with Emirates. Marietta, how are you today?
Hello, everyone. Quite okay under the circumstances.
Yes, so today, and not only today, we have this special time, but I don't want to talk about the virus. I want to keep positive, so let's talk about some other things. Marietta, I wanted to ask you about yourself and the time when you decided to resign. We talked actually a few days ago about you and your experiences during some flights. So could you tell us some details?
Um, well, I haven't flown for such a long time, but then I realized that um, there was a time to explore a little bit more life outside of flying. Um, I've heard a little voice in my head that said, I think you're tired enough of that and you want to go and see other opportunities. So basically, many people are sitting on the jump seats and just complain, but very few people have actually the courage to just go and explore and resign from the life that you're already having.
Yes. Mhm.
So basically, I realized that that was the time I want to come down and I want to have a family, because if this is not going to happen right now, it's probably not going to happen for a very long time. Um, so I mean, not in terms of professional life, but in terms of the instinct, I felt that this was the time to come down and pursue other things.
Mhm. All right, great. I usually present some stories of people who stopped flying and started some kind of new careers because as a career coach, I would like to show the different opportunities that you mentioned. And so far, I've talked to people who started their own businesses, who stayed in aviation but in a different role. Uh,
Hmm.
want to like to do something totally different, but today I would like to talk about you and the role as a mother, because so far I haven't talked to anyone who actually was aware of the moment that this is it, I need to stop. I want to start doing something else, but I want to have my own family. So can you tell me how your life changed and what are the good points, the benefits, of this stage that you are in now? Because we need to mention that you have a son already.
Yeah.
So could you say a little bit more about that, please?
Um, so after I decided to come down, I moved to a new country. I moved to Sweden with my partner, and we decided to have a family. And I mean, of course, the life right now is totally different, but it doesn't cross your professional life, because many people, I think that's a challenge for many women, is that after they resign from a flying career, they just want to become mothers or stay at home. But becoming a parent doesn't cross your professional career. It You have to realize that there is a time for everything in your life. So you just have to slow down, focus on the things, focus on being a mother, enjoy the time spent with your family, with your partner, with your husband, with your child, because this time will not come back. So I think this is what we have to keep in mind, that we have to focus on the time we're having right now. And then we go to a different stage, meaning, okay, I'm finishing my maternity leave, and now this is a time for a professional change and for the development. So one has to sit down and realize, okay, these are my good things, these are my downsides, these are my disadvantages, what I can do next. But we just have to slow down, basically, because I know that our brain keeps working 100%, especially when we come down to earth. I mean, from flying, we have thousands of different solutions for our life. But in the end, we have to pursue one way or another. We cannot pursue 100 different ways. Because in Poland, we have that saying that if one can do everything, one cannot do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so my life, of course, changed. Um, and it's still quite difficult if you realize that I thought when I resigned from flying, I'm going to sleep so well, I'm going to eat so well, I'm going to exercise every day. And then you become a mother and then you realize, okay, maybe this wasn't actually quite true, maybe now you actually can't decide when you have the shift, or you can't just go home and rest. You're on duty 24/7. So when someone asks me what's more difficult, being a flight attendant or a mother, I would say being a mother is, yeah, a job 24/7.
So very ultra long haul flight.
Yes, exactly. It's a marathon.
Right. Yes, you've mentioned something very important actually. Sometimes when I talk to crew who still fly and they would like to resign, but they hesitate, very often they say, but if I go back to my country, it's very difficult over there. I cannot do this, I cannot do that, because in my country it's not possible. And you're saying that you actually went to Sweden. So basically, completely, new country, new language. So what do you do now to prepare for the new career?
Well, first of all, when you move to a new country, you have to commit to learning the language. So that's the first thing. I know that most of the European countries and most countries all over the world speak English. But if you really want to socialize with the country and with the people, you need to speak their language. So to gain also their respect and to gain all the opportunities, equal opportunities as the locals have. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that one has to focus on the good sides and not thinking about the downsides and disadvantages and what I cannot do. You have to focus on what you can do and how to get there. It's the same when you apply for a cabin crew job. You know that it's right here and you're right here and you know all the steps and you exactly know how to develop because you really want it. But then when we resign, all of a sudden we forget how to go and get things. We just focus on how we cannot get those things. So we just have to ask ourselves and be true to ourselves and just realize, okay, so this is what I want, this is what I can do, and we can figure out 10 different ways to get there.
Mm-hmm. Right, great. So the last question is about the advice. Actively flying crew who, as you mentioned in our last conversation, sit on the jump seats during the flight and complain, I would like to resign, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know where to go, what to do.
So basically, when I was still flying and now when I have contact with all these people, I've noticed that there are two groups of people that already gain higher education and they didn't know what to do, so they started flying, or the people who didn't know what to study and they start flying to figure out what they want to do next. And my advice is that your future path doesn't have to be really connected to your education. What you have to do is to sit down with a piece of paper. And that's what my partner did to me before we moved to Sweden, because I was very hesitant. We sat down with a piece of paper, and then I wrote, these will be the challenges I'm going to go through. These are the things I want to have in a year. These are the things I want to have in 2 years. These are the things, and this is the place where I want to be in 5 years. And then I wrote, this is what I can do. And then all of a sudden, it became a matching piece of puzzle, that there are ways and there are solutions in between my skills and my plans.
Mm-hmm.
And one just has to realize that we're capable of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my advice. Just be true to yourself and focus on what you can do, not on what you cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you cannot do something, you can still learn it.
Yes, that's true. That's exactly what you should do when you set a goal. When you think of the goal, of course, you need to take into account the things that you cannot do, because if you want to develop, you need to learn some new things. So, of course, there are things that you already can. There are things that you don't have or you cannot do, but you can learn them. And, of course, you have to link all of these things.
Exactly.
All right, that's great. So is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think if you have that little voice in your head saying that maybe I want to do other things, I think it is important to follow that voice in your head and try to see what's out there.
I agree.
Yeah.
I even mentioned in one of the articles that I wrote and posted on LinkedIn that, when you feel the moment that, this is it, you shouldn't disregard it, because then you will never find the right moment. You will always find some excuses, and basically the excuses are the big problem, because if we stop excusing ourselves, there will always be a reason to wait one more year, maybe half a year, and then there's a new destination, then there is new aircraft coming, so you want to fly on it, you want to experience it, then there is something else, and then there's never a good time to actually quit. So if there's this voice that tells you that's it, or try something else, then we should listen to it.
Exactly. We should follow it.
All right, so thanks once again, Marietta. It was really great to see you and talk to you.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Hope to see you soon in reality without this virus and
yes,
the negativity around that it caused.
Exactly. Looking forward.
Me too. Bye. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.